I wore my black coat as she spoke. You picked them over me. Her voice echoed rehearsed like she'd been practicing while I signed death certificates and selected caskets. The house breathed in the scent of lemon cleaner and absence. I didn't raise my voice or posed questions with answers already known. I merely nodded, packed a bag, exited. That marked the initial move. Silence. A week later, her father phoned for aid, but I digress. We crossed paths when I still believed loyalty was a common tongue. She used to laugh freely then, laid a hand on my arm as she spoke, and assured me of my safety. Our union was constructed on small rituals, Sunday coffees, late-night drives, a quiet intimacy that seemed eternal because we didn't envision its demise. When my father fell ill, she said, "You should be there." When he passed away, she said, "Take as much time as you need." She meant it until it disrupted her plans. In just 3 days, it all crumbled. For 3 days, I was swamped with paperwork and phone calls, attending to relatives in need. I returned home drained, bearing grief as an additional burden. She sat at the kitchen table, divorce documents organized like a verdict. "You've been absent," she said. I observed her eyes, devoid of tremors, regretless. That was when I realized this wasn't spontaneous. The signs had been evident. They often are. Her phone being deliberately turned down, late dinners with acquaintances whose names I never learned, the affection she once showed me now spared. I didn't challenge her. I cataloged, I listened, I waited. The message arrived the eve before the funeral, a name familiar to me. A man whose family I knew well. "Can't wait till this is over. I miss us." I left nothing unsent. I forwarded everything. Grief honed my senses. It didn't fracture me. When she requested the divorce, she anticipated a spectacle. Tears, bargaining, something dramatic enough to validate her decision. I gave her nothing of that. This disturbed her. Moved into a temporary residence, tranquility prevailed, providing space for strategic planning. In the stillness, intentions were crafted, not driven by rage, but by lucidity. She had misjudged 2 aspects, my patience and my resources. I was the one who managed our finances consistently. She deemed it mundane. I saw it as a safeguard. It wasn't about hiding money or engaging in illicit activities. Rather, I ceased shielding her from the outcomes of her decisions. Contacted my attorney, then her employer, exposing the conflict of interest she had cultivated with her acquaintance. Stepped back, allowing protocol to take its course. Remained discreet, as the truth often moves more swiftly when left unpursued. The denouement transpired quietly. On a Tuesday afternoon, my wife's father contacted me, his voice quivering. He had always admired and trusted me. He requested assistance to sift through documents, clarify a situation that was spiraling out of control. Arrived to find my spouse present, visibly distressed and cornered. "I hadn't foreseen you entering that room with composure in your step and proof in your hand." Her father scrutinized us as I laid everything on the table. The messages, the timeline, the professional ruin looming ahead. I spoke sparingly, just enough. She crumbled bit by bit, first shock, then fear, then comprehension. Eventually, she spoke my name like a prayer. I met her gaze. "You chose them over me," I said. It hit harder than any shouting ever could. In quick succession, things progressed. The divorce was finalized under terms she hadn't foreseen. The man she had risked everything for vanished when the consequences surfaced. Her standing in society shattered beneath its own weight. I didn't rejoice. I watched. Justice doesn't require cheers. Now seated solitary in my new apartment, I ponder on my father, on what he imparted unknowingly. That dignity isn't ostentatious. That strength is frequently misconstrued as weakness by those who confuse noise with power. I didn't ruin her. Her decisions became my testament. Tranquility dwells therein. No longer do I bear her infidelity as a festering injury, but rather as a mark of survival. A symbol, if you will, that when the time arrived, I opted for myself and departed without a backward glance. Quiet was my armor, persistence was my defense. And when the debris was cleared, I remained undaunted. This was my reward.